Thank you for leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, we truly appreciate it. Now, let's dive right into today's analysis. Russia-Ukraine War, 3 years in review, current situation, consequences, and prospects for an end. Greetings. Today marks exactly 3 years since Russia launched its special military operation in Ukraine. This war is not just a conflict between two nations but a geopolitical flashpoint that has shaken the global order. Over the past 3 years, hundreds of thousands have lost their lives. Millions have been displaced. And the global economic damage has reached trillions of dollars. There is still no clear end in sight. In today's analysis, we will take an in-depth look at 1. Causes of the war. Why did Russia launch the military operation? 2. The battlefield in 2025. What is the current military situation? 3. Humanitarian and economic losses. How has the war impacted civilians and the economies of both countries? 4. The role of the US, NATO, and China. How are major powers influencing the conflict? 5. Prospects for ending the war. How long will the war last? And what possible scenarios could unfold? Let's break down each aspect of this war in detail. 1. Causes of the war. Where did it all begin? To understand the war, we need to examine its deep-rooted causes from historical, political, and geopolitical perspectives. Russia-Ukraine tensions throughout history. The post-Soviet period, 1991 to 2013. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, Ukraine declared independence. Russia viewed Ukraine as part of its natural sphere of influence. While Ukraine gradually leaned toward the West, tensions escalated as Ukraine sought NATO and EU membership. The 2014 crisis. Pro-Russian Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych was overthrown during the Maidan protests. Russia responded by annexing Crimea and supporting separatists in Donbas. The Donbas conflict became a major flashpoint in Russia-Ukraine relations. Why did Russia launch the 2022 war? Moscow cited 3 main reasons for its special military operation. 1. Preventing NATO expansion. Russia saw Ukraine's NATO ambitions as a security threat. 2. Protecting Russian-speaking populations in Donbas. Moscow accused Kyiv of persecuting Russian-speaking communities. 3. Reasserting great power status. The Kremlin aimed to prove Russia remained a geopolitical force. However, many analysts argue these were merely pretexts for territorial expansion and an attempt to restore Moscow's Soviet-era influence. 2. The war in 2025, where do things stand? After 3 years of intense fighting, the battlefield has undergone significant changes. Early phase, February 24, 2022, Tech 2022. Russia launched rapid offensives, capturing 27% of Ukraine's territory by March 2022. Ukraine counterattacked, reclaiming Kharkiv and Kherson by late 2022. Stalemate period, 2023 to 2024. Both sides focused on a war of attrition. Russia captured Avdiivka in February 2024 but made no major breakthroughs. Battlefield situation in early 2025. Russia controls 18 to 20% of Ukraine, including Crimea, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson. Ukraine continues limited counteroffensives but has not regained significant territory. Stalemate persists, with most fighting concentrated in Donbas. 3. Humanitarian and economic losses. Military casualties. Russia, 172.000 to 250.000 killed. 611.000 to 800.000 wounded. Ukraine, 45.100 to 700.000 casualties. Depending on different sources. Civilian casualties, 12.600 civilians killed, including 669 children, 29.000 civilians wounded, 6.9 million Ukrainian refugees, mostly in Germany, Poland, and the Czech Republic. Economic impact. Ukraine, GDP fell 28.3% in 2022. With slow recovery in 2023 to 2024, Russia, GDP grew due to energy exports. But inflation hit 9.5%. Global economy: the war has caused $2.8 trillion in worldwide economic losses. 4. The role of the US, NATO, and China. US and NATO policies. Trump's administration reduced aid to Ukraine, forcing Kyiv to consider negotiations. Europe continues supporting Ukraine, but not enough to shift the battlefield dynamics. China's role: Beijing buys Russian oil at discounted prices, helping Moscow mitigate sanctions. China may act as a mediator in potential peace talks. 5. Prospects for ending the war. Scenario 1, peace negotiations, 50% chance. Trump pressures Russia and Ukraine to negotiate. Russia retains occupied territories, while Ukraine commits not to join NATO. Scenario 2, prolonged war, 40% chance. Ukraine continues fighting but struggles to reclaim lost land. Russia maintains its war of attrition, extending the conflict for years. Scenario 3, escalation, 10% chance. If NATO increases involvement, the war could spill over into other countries. After 3 years of war, there is no clear resolution. Ukraine remains resilient, but reclaiming all lost territory seems unlikely. Meanwhile, Russia faces growing challenges, from sanctions to military losses. The key question now is, will 2025 mark a turning point in the war? Or will the conflict drag on with unpredictable consequences? Thank you for watching. We will continue to update you with the latest developments.